In the kingdom of Evernight, where whispers of treachery and tales of valor echo through the cobbled streets, a legend was born, a shadow who walked among men, unseen and unheard. His name was Lorian, a man known only by the mark of a raven etched into his left wrist. Raised in the shadows of the Brotherhood, a secretive order of assassins, Lorian was trained from childhood in the arts of stealth, combat, and deception. The Brotherhood had no room for compassion. Their loyalty was to the highest bidder, and their tools were blades in the dark. One fateful evening, as the crimson sun dipped below the horizon, Lorian received a summons from the Grandmaster. A contract had been offered, more dangerous than any before: the assassination of Lord Gawain, a nobleman known for his iron rule and merciless tactics. But this mission was different. Failure would mean death, not only for Lorian, but for the Brotherhood itself. Lord Gawain's fortress loomed like a stone giant over the darkened forest. Its walls were impenetrable, guarded by the finest soldiers in the realm. As Lorian approached under the cover of night, he knew this mission required more than brute strength. It required cunning. Disguised as a wandering minstrel, he gained entry to the fortress, his lute carrying a melody that masked his true intentions. The castle's servants and guards paid little mind to the musician, unaware of the deadly intent hidden beneath the gentle notes. As Lorian roamed the halls, he studied every corridor and every guard's routine, committing them to memory. The time to strike would come soon, but he needed to be patient. For now, the shadows were his allies, and he would wait until they were ready to conceal his deadly purpose. While navigating the fortress, Lorian was shocked to encounter a ghost from his past. Ilara, a woman he once loved, thought lost to the world. She was now a servant in Gawain's household, her spirit broken by years of servitude. Recognizing him instantly, her eyes filled with a mixture of hope and fear. She pleaded with Lorian to abandon his mission, warning that Gawain was more than he seemed. Rumors whispered that the nobleman dabbled in dark arts, seeking power beyond the mortal realm. Torn between duty and emotion, Lorian's resolve began to waver. But the Brotherhood's creed was clear. Emotions were weaknesses, ties that could get an assassin killed. He couldn't afford to let sentiment cloud his judgment, but the reunion with Ilara left a crack in his steely exterior, one that he feared would widen before the night was through. Determined to carry out his mission, Lorian made his way to the highest tower in the fortress, where Lord Gawain was rumored to conduct his sinister rituals. The path was fraught with dangers, traps laid by Gawain's sorcerer, and guards whose loyalty was bought with gold and fear. Lorian's skills were tested as never before. Every step was a dance with death, every breath a reminder of the stakes. Finally, Lorian reached the tower's peak. Inside, the air was thick with the stench of burning herbs and ancient scrolls. At the center of the room stood an altar, adorned with symbols that made Lorian's blood run cold. Gawain was there, chanting in a language long forgotten, surrounded by a dark aura that pulsed with malevolent energy. It was clear now, Gawain was no ordinary man. He was a warlock, a being who had forsaken his humanity for power. Without hesitation, Lorian struck. The element of surprise was his only advantage against such a powerful foe. But Gawain was prepared. He deflected Lorian's blade with a wave of his hand, sending the assassin crashing against the stone walls. A battle ensued, unlike any Lorian had ever faced. Gawain's dark magic clashed against Lorian's deadly precision, light and shadow in a deadly dance. As the fight raged on, it became clear that brute force alone would not defeat Gawain. Lorian had to think, to outmaneuver the warlock. He remembered the tales of old, of how darkness could be turned upon itself. With a feigned retreat, Lorian lured Gawain into casting a powerful spell. In the moment of the spell's release, Lorian struck at the warlock's weakest point, his concentration, shattering the dark aura that protected him. Gawain lay defeated, his power broken, but as Lorian raised his blade for the final blow, Ilara appeared, begging for mercy. She revealed that Gawain, in his quest for power, had bound her life to his through a dark ritual. If he died, so would she. Lorian was faced with an impossible choice: kill Gawain and lose Alara forever, or spare him and betray the Brotherhood, risking his own life. Torn between his duty and the woman he loved, Lorian hesitated. The Brotherhood had taught him that hesitation was fatal, but in this moment, he was no longer the assassin he had been trained to be. He was a man, with a heart that still beat for something beyond the shadows. Against all he had been taught, Lorian spared Gawain's life. The warlock, broken and powerless, was left to live out his days in the dungeons of his own fortress. Alara was free, but Lorian knew the price of his choice. There would be no place for him in the Brotherhood anymore. His life as an assassin was over, and now he would be hunted by those he once called brothers. Alara and Lorian fled the fortress together, seeking refuge in the distant mountains. They lived in constant fear, knowing the Brotherhood's reach was long and its vengeance swift. But for the first time, Lorian felt a sense of peace. He had defied the shadows that had once claimed him, choosing love over death. But peace was short-lived. Word of Gawain's downfall spread, and the Brotherhood dispatched its most feared enforcer to deal with the traitor, an assassin known only as the Spectre, a figure cloaked in mystery and terror. The Spectre was relentless, a hunter who never failed, and he was coming for Lorian. Lorian knew he couldn't run forever. He began to prepare for the inevitable confrontation, training in the remote wilderness, honing his skills to a razor's edge. Alara tried to dissuade him, begging him to flee to lands where the Brotherhood's influence didn't reach. But Lorian knew that until he faced the Spectre, they would never be safe. The day of reckoning arrived. Lorian stood in the shadow of the mountains, the wind howling around him like the ghosts of his past. The Spectre appeared, silent as death itself, his eyes cold and devoid of mercy. The two assassins faced each other, both knowing only one would walk away. The battle was fierce, each man a master of his craft. Blades clashed, sparks flew, and the earth itself seemed to tremble beneath the weight of their fury. Lorian fought not just for his life, but for the future he dreamed of with Alara, a future free from the chains of the Brotherhood. In a final, desperate move, Lorian used the environment to his advantage, leading the Spectre into a narrow ravine. There, he set a trap, one that required perfect timing and nerves of steel. As the Spectre lunged for the kill, Lorian triggered a landslide, burying his enemy under tons of rock. With the Spectre defeated, Lorian and Alara finally found the peace they had long sought. They settled in a quiet village, far from the shadows of their past, living a life of simplicity and contentment. The Brotherhood, weakened by internal strife and the loss of its greatest enforcers, faded into obscurity, its once terrifying name becoming a mere legend. But Lorian never forgot the lessons he had learned. He knew the shadows were always there, lurking at the edges of the world, waiting for a moment of weakness. But now, he was no longer afraid. He had chosen his path, a path of light, where love, honor, and freedom reigned over fear and death. And so, the tale of Lorian, the elite assassin who defied the darkness, became a fable told to children across Evernight, a story of redemption, courage, and the power of choice. I hope you enjoyed today's tale. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with fellow story lovers, and leave a comment below to let me know what you think.